Starting off this vlog with two really strong, fun books. Hollow was also such a good time too.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
We have an exciting package from Redbubble. Can you call it a package? An envelope? I'm in the process of redoing my Kindle. It's so smart. Like, the ideas that people come up with and share in the book community, I'm like, you are doing God's work. Hello, my friends. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new. I am so happy that you're here. We're starting a weekly reading vlog. I'm trying to decide on if there is a connecting theme to the books that I'm reading this week. Overall, they have a darker tone to them. But we have a mix of some different books that we're reading. So I'll go through my TBR briefly, and then as I'm doing my reading updates for each book, I'll tell you a little bit more about the synopsis and stuff like that. So the first one that I have on audio for this week that I've already started listening to a little bit is called All the Dead Lie Down by Kyrie McCauley. It's supposed to be a YA gothic romance. It has a house that kind of plays a big role in the story, which I love. And in the description on Goodreads, it says that it's a mix between The Haunting of Bly Manor meets House of Salt and Sorrows. So I'm really excited for this one. I've already listened to the first couple chapters. I think I'm on chapter 4 so far. It's very interesting. It's very creepy deep so far. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. Then this week, we have a book that I've been saying I've been going to read since like January or February of this year. So we're finally getting to her. If I don't read this book this week, I need y'all to actually punch me in the face because this is so annoying. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. It is Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb. This is supposed to be a horror fantasy with some romance mixed in there. It has saints, it has demons, it has corruption in a city. It sounds amazing. I can't wait to get to it. So I'm going to be reading this week, I freaking promise. I have a graphic novel that's called Hollow that I want to get to this week. And then I'm also continuing my read with To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. That is a Rapunzel inspired fantasy romance that I'm already 100 pages into. I spoke about it a little bit in my last vlog, so once I pick it up again and we do an update, I'll catch all up a little bit on that one. I'm very excited that I have an audiobook this week because I have been nonstop playing Obsessed with Cozy Grove, which I downloaded last week in my last weekly vlog, and it's been so fun, but it's really been impacting how much I'm reading. It's a game that I can listen to an audiobook while I'm playing it. So that is going to be the strategy. I am now a quarter of the way through All the Dead Lie Down, and let's talk a little bit about it because it is giving all of the creepy New England vibes. I totally agree with like The Haunting of Bly Manor. I'm still figuring out if I agree with the House of Salt and Sorrow comparison. What it's also really reminding me of is the book Horrid by Katrina Leno, I think, because it's giving very New England creepy family, creepy children, creepy house by the sea vibes. So we have our main character, Marin. She loses her only family member, which was her mother, very tragically, and very shortly after her mother's death, she gets a letter from this horror author. Her name is Alice Lovelace, offering her a position to nanny at Lovelace House. Now, the Lovelaces are a very wealthy, well-off family in the book. They're a fictional family, but in the book they were compared to rubbing shoulders with like the Rockefellers and things like that. So that gives you some idea. This is the creepiest family ever. So the mom, when she is going through periods of writing, she wants to not be disturbed at all throughout the day. Marin is babysitting these two young girls. I think they're twins. These girls are like very fake nice, and they play a lot of pranks on Marin to the point where they're becoming dangerous. And it seems like each chapter it's getting more and more disturbing. These girls are so delusional and they're living in their own little worlds. They're living in their own bubble. So it's just very odd. And then there is a third daughter who is older than the twins. She was away at a boarding school and just decides to like drop out and come back home. So we've just met her. Her name is Evie. I am really enjoying the vibes. I think it's super creepy. I like the dynamic of the little girls and how they are creating a lot of that conflict in really creepy ways. And I hand it to Marin, like she is handling some of these situations really, really well, but none of these people are really nice to her besides the staff that's in the house and Evie, but Evie is like sus about why she's being nice. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Hi friends, happy Wednesday. So update from yesterday. I ended up finishing Hollow by Shannon Waters and I need to tell you a little bit about it. So Hollow is a graphic novel that has an amazingly diverse cast of characters, which we love. It has LGBTQ plus representation and it is a book that's kind of a retelling of Sleepy Hollow. So it's gonna be great for spooky season. I feel like come September and October, there's so many incredible autumnal readathons, but it's very easy to get overwhelmed with how many books that you want to read. Well, maybe that's just a me problem, but I have so many books that fit the spooky autumnal vibes that I save them for September and October, and then I get very overwhelmed with how many books I have to read. And also I just want to participate in all of the readathons. I find that graphic novels really help like my overall mental reading space when I'm doing all of these readathons, and so I think that Hollow would be a fantastic graphic novel to add to your repertoire of spooky season books if you needed a graphic novel. It was giving Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated vibes, like just the group of friends and how they're trying to solve this, I guess it's not a mystery, but this issue that's going on in the town. I loved the Headless Horseman. I thought he was fantastic. I really liked the villain. It just went by so quickly. I enjoyed it so much and highly recommend this one. Also, the illustration style was amazing. So, loved it. I loved the little romance that we got sprinkled into. It was just perfection. And I'm now halfway through listening to All the Dead Lie Down. This as well has been such a joy to read, and I think it's because I'm switching back to a lot of these spooky, darker type books, and these books are my bread and butter. Like, all of my favorite books are spooky books. They have really dark themes. I just love it so much. I'm going back to what my heart wants in this weekly reading vlog. So it's so macabre. I'm not sure how much the gothic is playing into it. It doesn't have a very gothic writing style. I think the term gothic is attached to this book because of the setting, and that I can agree with, but overall, at least so far, halfway through, I don't see this as a super gothic type book, but it's very macabre, it's very dark, it has themes of death. They're just finding like bones all over the place and teeth and like creepy stuff. The romance is interesting. I'm not sure how much I want to talk about the romance because I don't want to spoil anything, but the twists that we've had with our romantic love interests, it's our main character Marin and someone else. I wasn't expecting it at all. And it's funny because once I got to like the 30% mark, I was like, this said that it was a gothic YA romance. Where's the romance? And then it started and I was like, tea! Oh my gosh, that's so tea! My goal is to try to finish it today. I was listening to the audiobook this morning when JMO and I went for our walk and when I was running some errands and things like that. I should be able to listen to some of it while I'm working today as well. Good morning, besties. Happy Thursday. I have some reading updates to share. So I finished All the Dead Lie Down last night. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. If you liked What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, I think that you would really like this book, except if you don't like mushroomy type things like fungi, like What Moves the Dead, don't worry about that. It is a different vibe, but the themes are really similar. I do also think if you liked House of Salt and Sorrow, you would like this book. If you like houses, if you like books where the house and the setting really plays a role in the story, I think that you'll like this book. It was so good. The plot twists absolutely blew my mind. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit cryptic, but I don't want to give anything away. Starting off this vlog with 2 really strong, fun books. Hollow was also such a good time too.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Physically reading during the week has started to become very difficult for me because of work right now, which sucks. It's been an adjustment trying to figure out after work how I can best like disconnect and not just have work things take over my entire brain for the rest of the night, especially because I stopped working at 8 p.m. Physically reading has been a challenge because my mind can't stay in the book. It constantly is returning to these like work thoughts. And so fingers crossed this is a short-term thing and my work starts to transition into a better place in the coming weeks, but that's kind of what I've been struggling with. And so audiobooks have been my friend. My cozy switch games have been my friend. They've really helped me mentally create that space from work. So that's why my reading patterns are a little bit different, I think, in last week's vlog and then this week's vlog. But I'm trying to find things that work for me during this time. And so that being said, I have a couple other audiobooks on hold. My intention is still to read To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. Come tomorrow when my weekend starts, that's what I'm really going to try to read physically. And also tomorrow I get to see my bestie Sarah. I'm gonna drive down to San Diego, and so I need an audiobook for, it's like a 2.5 to 3 hour drive one way, so I'm gonna have a lot of time in the car to be listening to another audiobook. I put in a couple different holds, and I know that the theme of this weekly reading vlog is kind of darker toned, spooky / fantasy books. I'm gonna go back to the Witcher books because my audiobook hold for Baptism of Fire just came in. I'm fresh off of watching the new season, which is helpful because that last season, the 3rd season, played out the last book that I read, which was Time of Contempt, and it's set up for the 3rd book. It's always helpful because with the Witcher books, there's so many characters that what the TV show has actually done for me is given me a face to the name, because there's a lot of characters in here, especially in the kind of mages world, that are very, very similar. They don't have, in my brain, independent, strong character roles, but what the TV show did was really help me to differentiate those characters in my head. So now going into this book, where there is a lot of political moving parts, there's a very defined war that's now established, and each character has more of a role to play in this war. I typically don't listen to the Witcher books when I'm working because they are very involved. So my comfort speed with audiobooks is typically 1.75 to 2 times speed. I'm gonna listen to this maybe just slightly over 1 time speed, like 1.25, maybe 1.5, just so that I can make sure I'm fully digesting everything that's happening with the massive cast of characters. That is the plan. Good morning, besties. I apologize. My bathroom has like the scariest and most atrocious lighting ever, so I apologize for the jump scare. I'm just getting ready because today I'm driving down to San Diego to hang out with my bestie Sarah. I'm so excited. And today is Friday. I only have a little bit of a reading update for you because work got really worky towards the end of the day yesterday and I couldn't listen to as much of my audiobook as I wanted to, but I got about 20% of the way into Baptism of Fire, which is the Witcher book that I'm reading. I'm actually pretty proud that I got 20% and I'm planning on listening to that audiobook during the drive. It's about a little less than 3 hours. So I have plenty of time to listen to this audiobook today, both on my way down and when I drive back. The beginnings of the Witcher books for me, at least for the last two, the beginnings do have a bit of a slow start, and I find that it's because in the books, it's introducing kind of a new character that's going to play some type of role in the book. So this one we got introduced to Milvera. It's something like that. She is this like badass warrior type character. Sorry, we are on the move this morning. I'm all over the place. I'm just gonna do my mascara. But because work has not been fun for me lately, yesterday for my lunch break, I went by the pool just to get some sun and read. And I started reading Seven Faceless Saints. I'm only about 5 chapters into it, but I am loving the setting and the mood of the book. So people in the society, there's like a very high society, which are the disciples of these saints. So a disciple has specific powers to the specific saint that they are a disciple from, and there's multiple disciples. They are like the highest nobility in this society, and then anyone who doesn't have powers or like is a disciple, is a descendant, whatever, they're very, very low class and they're very poor. So there's a big economic gap between the people of this society. For the disciples of these saints, I forget all of them, but there's like a saint of patience, a saint of strength, a saint of death, and then there's 3 more. And then there's one saint who has been like outlawed, and that's the saint of chaos. And there's this society that they're at war with because that society still worships chaos. And it's really, really interesting. These saints seem like very dark and kind of creepy, and it's a dual POV. We're following 2 characters. One is a guard for the nobility. He used to be in the military, and on his watch, one of the disciples, the disciple of death, was murdered, and there's been a couple other like mysterious murders, and so they have to figure out what is going on and who is killing people. And then our second POV is this girl named Roz. She is a disciple, so she actually has powers. I forget which saint she is like associated with, but she is not a fan of the current societal structure that's in place. She doesn't believe it. The connection between the 2 POVs, they used to be childhood best friends, but ever since, I forget what his name is, but ever since he came back from the war, they haven't really reconnected. There's supposed to be the love connection in this book, and it's supposed to be like a fantasy horror, so it does get pretty dark and gruesome, and I am very excited. But I'm going to stop talking through my mascara because this has been one of the most difficult challenges of my whole life, and I will talk to y'all in a little bit. I'll try to grab some clips of the day to bring you guys along. Hello friends, another day, another jump scare,
Another day that I'm sitting in front of the mirror about to do things to my face. I had so much fun yesterday with my friend Sarah. We kind of just like walked around, got food at a bunch of different places and drinks, and went into a bookstore and like a couple stores that were just super, super cutie. I got a couple clips, but I was more focused on just like catching up with my bestie because it's been like months since her and I have been able to hang out. So that was super fun. I'm having a very self-care / reading day. I was able to listen to the audiobook for Baptism of Fire yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like halfway through it at this point and I'm kind of struggling with it. Like, I understand the general gist of what's going on. I understand why they are journeying to where they're going. I don't know, I'm having like a really difficult time understanding who's who. In the Witcher books, there are lots and lots of monologues. Like basically the entire story is happening through the dialogue of the characters, and it's such a massive cast of characters. And I think like my issue is that I'm used to being able to picture characters very well in my head. They're typically very well described. But I feel like in the Witcher series, there's so many supporting characters where we don't get a full description of them. It's basically just like, this is a knight from this kingdom, and then it goes into his dialogue, and then it's like you're supposed to remember who he is by like the role he's playing in the story. I don't know what it is. It's just so difficult for me to like keep everything straight at this point that I'm not having a good time. And so I'm not gonna DNF Baptism of Fire. I am just gonna continue with it, but it's not going to be a priority today. But I'm having a really difficult decision trying to figure out what I want to read. There's no judgments during this clip, okay? I'm doing my hair. I'm gonna do some like heatless curls throughout the day because my hair looks kind of crazy right now. And then I'm also going to be doing a face mask. I need just like a chill day, so. The only other thing that I would like to do today, besides finish one of the 3 books I'm currently in the middle of, is start to edit this vlog so that I can have it up for tomorrow. We are back from our nail appointment. I feel like a new woman, I'm not gonna lie. I took Ross's car through the car wash for him and cleaned it because it was really gross. And then we have an exciting package from Redbubble. Can you call it a package, an envelope? I'm in the process of redoing my Kindle. I previously had all stickers stuck to the back of my actual Kindle, but I want to do the clear case, pop socket, stickers underneath the case moment because it's so smart. Like, the ideas that people come up with and share in the book community, I'm like, you are doing God's work. This is such an amazing idea. So I got a bunch of stickers from Redbubble. She's a 10, but she spends all of her money on books. Absolutely. I got this cutie Taurus sticker, and then these stickers, I freaked out when I saw them. They're so stinking cute. They're to worship Sarah J. Maas. So this one's the ACOTAR one. Crescent City with Bryce, and Throne of Glass with Aelin and the Mountains. I think that these, like, the style is so cute. I saw them and I was like, that's a need, not a want. So we got those. I don't know if I'm gonna put those on my Kindle though, because I can't pick a series. Like, that's just blasphemous. This one is absolutely going on my emotional support Kindle. It's a great day to read a book. These we're gonna get to arranging, and I will show you the finished product of Miss Kinney Queen. Hi
friends, I'm here to close out this weekly reading vlog. Today is Sunday. I am in the middle of editing this video and I was like, I need to give some final reading updates. Yesterday we accomplished our goal of having a very chill, self-care, relaxed day, and I ended up reading 50% more of To Bleed a Crystal Blue. I was really trying to finish it yesterday, but I got up to 70%. And the reason why I didn't really do updates throughout my reading process yesterday was because I feel very unsure about To Bleed a Crystal Blue. I think it's the main plot point, which is the romance, that I just don't know how I feel about it, and so I really don't know how I'm gonna rate it, even though I'm 70% of the way through. My goal today is to finish it, but that won't be included in this vlog. So make sure that you follow me on Goodreads, or like friend me on Goodreads. I don't know what you call it, because I do post all of my reviews and star ratings there. I will probably post about it on Instagram as well. So my Instagram and Goodreads are linked down below. The things that I'm really enjoying about the book, I really love the writing style. I love the world that she's created. I felt like her world building has been very smooth. There was never a point in the book where I felt overwhelmed with the world building. We learn about them incrementally in a way that's very easy for the reader to absorb. Outside of Orlaith, who is our main character who plays this kind of Rapunzel archetype role, the other characters, we still don't know a lot about them. At the 70% mark, I'm really trying to think through the other characters and their backstories. We don't have any of their backstories because this book is mainly in Orlaith's POV, and she's so sheltered by choice because she's like traumatized, and so she really feels unsafe in the world. She's created this safety bubble in Castle Noir where she's living with Riordan, who like rescued her from a very young age from this very traumatic experience where her whole family died or was murdered by these deadly creatures. So that's stuck with her. He's not keeping her in her tower, in her castle. It's her choice. So she's being confined through her own volition. So that's the interesting spin on Rapunzel. But Riordan is seemingly the main love interest. There have been some other like flirty, really cute moments that I've loved with this character named Kai, who is a water drake, basically a merman, and he is so vibey. We love him. There were a few moments in the book so far that were very like tensiony. There's a lot of angst. The main romance, the fact that it's still kind of a question mark about whether or not it's fully with Orlaith and Riordan, it seems like it is. She's like pining after him, but it's not reciprocated. So it's unrequited love, but their dynamic is odd to me because Riordan's so much older than her. And I'm fine with an age gap, but he rescued her when she was, I think, around 2 years old. She's been living with him ever since. He hasn't officially stepped into this like guardian slash parental type role. He allows her to stay with him because he needs her blood. He drinks her blood once a day. She like pricks her finger, and that's their relationship, and we don't know why. Like, we still haven't gotten any freaking reasoning as to like why this needs to happen, what that does for him. Like, we just don't even know. So like I guess I wish that we were further along in the romance, that we got more information about why their dynamic is the way that it is, why he needs her. But I'm intrigued. I've never been bored, even though now that I'm talking through this, there's so much left to the unknown for the reader at 70% of the way through. I haven't been frustrated with that. I haven't been bored. I think that I am enjoying the world and the characters, and I'm so intrigued that it hasn't felt boring. I've been invested in it, but I think that's why I don't know how to feel, because there's all of these moving pieces. We have a ton of puzzle pieces, seemingly no connections, no answers yet, and that's making me just feel like this book is a massive question mark. It is a planned trilogy, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think the second book is already out in the series, and then the third book is getting released soon, in the next couple months. So once I finish it, depending on how many answers we get, I will probably continue with the series, but this one has just been kind of a weird book. That being said, I'm going to end the vlog here, my friends. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you enjoyed watching. If you made it this far, please leave some black hearts in the comments down below. We are doing our 48-hour romantasy readathon next weekend. It's August 25th to the 27th, Friday to Sunday. I post all the announcements for that on the Instagram at romantasyathon. Linked in the description box below if you're curious. If you'd like to join us, it's gonna be so much stinking fun. Myself and my co-host Katie from Katie's Book Nook, we're gonna be hosting sprints all next weekend, so I hope to see you there, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!